Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse today, Thursday, February 27th, 2025. We're covering all the cases, but we're also covering now this mayoral race. It struck me today, why is it taking on kind of national tinges? Well, it's because of the indictment of Eric Adams for bribery, but especially it's because of the motion to dismiss, nolo prosequi, by the Trump administration. Now they're tangled up in blue because DOJ wants to dismiss it without prejudice to renewal, and now Eric Adams, seeing the writing on the wall, has asked that it be dismissed with prejudice. I don't know how Judge Cuomo, he's yet to rule on yesterday's filing, but there was a mayoral candidate, a mayoral forum. Eric Adams didn't go, but the other ones did. Jessica Ramos, Scott Stringer, Brad Lander, I don't want to forget any of them, excuse me, Mr. Blake, Zoran Mamdani, and Zelnor Myrie. They were all there blasting away, as much blasting away at Cuomo, who today may jump into the race, as they were blasting away at Adams. There's also Adrienne Adams. The big story today is that she filed papers and that Tish James is behind her. So I don't know exactly what I'm saying, except that we're going to be doing more of this coverage, and there's a legal element to all of it. We're also covering, of course, the Charlie Javice trial, where yesterday things turned. The first two witnesses didn't really lay a glove on her, but the third one was pretty much saying that she was inflating numbers well above the $4 million figure. You can find all of this on Inner City Press, Substack, and elsewhere. We're covering that trial. Sue Me Terry, it's a spy case. Spouse of Max Boot, now has moved to dismiss, charged with being a FARA violation, working for South Korea without registering as a foreign agent. Now, the issue has become, she says that she was questioned. She was taken from her apartment to a hotel room. She had to do a Zoom call, but they didn't even let her be alone for that. They stayed with her. They didn't let her change her clothes alone. They had a female agent with her. They kind of intimidate her. She kept asking them if she needed a lawyer, and they just kept questioning her. I don't know if she asked for a lawyer, though. She may have just asked, do I need a lawyer? I don't know if that's going to trigger dismissal. But she's moved to dismiss. So there's that. There's also a guy called Sycama. He was the husband of a art gallery owner who was then killed in Brazil. And now he's been charged with murder for hire. And yesterday at a hearing that there was no one else covering for some reason, it was said it's a capital case. He's going to need learned counsel because he may be the first one on the track of the new administration's new policy on executions. We'll see. Could be Luigi Mangione as well. Now, in the DCB, which we also cover, there's a guy called Pannum. He's a leader of Khalistan trying to break away from India, or I don't want to say it the wrong way, but here's the point. He was the target of a murder for hire trial of Mr. Gupta, who's on trial up here, but he's filed his own civil suit against the government of India here in SDNY, but he had to serve a guy called Ajit Doval of the Indian government while he was in Blair House, right across from the White House. But you're supposed to be able to apparently give legal papers to the Secret Service to serve foreign officials when they're in D.C., but the Secret Service refused to take the papers, he says, of his process server, threatened to arrest the process server. Finally, the process server left the papers in a Starbucks. I don't know if that's going to qualify as service, but he's asked the judge to okay that as service. This goes under the rubric of immunity. You see, at least Ajit Doval is potentially subject to this suit. The UN, of course, claims to be totally immune, absolutely immune. They claim that they can assist terrorist attacks and get away with it. They claim that they can bring cholera to Haiti and kill people, get away with it. They claim they can throw out any journalist they want, totally outside of the entire building, and not answer any questions. Well, some say that the budget vote in Congress, the thin passage of the budget, means that a new UN ambassador is on the way. Let's see. Whatever that timing, this now is a litmus test for UN immunity and impunity. To be continued.